Hi, it's Terry Ryder from Hotspotting. It's Tuesday evening, so this must be, and it is, Hotspot of the Week. Once a week, I bring you a hotspot that we think is worthy of your attention. And this week, we're going to be talking about Ballarat in Victoria. It's very timely to be focusing on Ballarat because it's featuring prominently in some of our new reports. We recently published the two editions of the Cheapies with Prospects report. We have a city edition and a regional edition, and Ballarat features prominently in our regional edition, as it has done throughout this year. It also features largely in the new edition of the Price Predictor Index, which we publish quarterly. We've just published the spring edition, and within that we have our top 10 municipalities in Australia in terms of locations that have got lots of suburbs with rising demand, rising sales volumes. And Ballarat is one of the national top 10 in that regard as well. So our two most recent reports, Ballarat features very prominently. And why is it so prominent? Well, because the market is really pumping there at the moment. It's one of those markets that puts the lie to that constant media barrage of negativity about prices falling everywhere and there's no growth anymore in Australian property. It simply isn't true. There are strong growth markets happening around the country, and Ballarat's a great example of it. Melbourne may be winding down, but the key regional markets of Victoria certainly are not, and Ballarat is one of those places that's coming very strong. We've already seen very, very big price growth in the last 12 months in some of the regional centres close to Melbourne, led by the suburbs of Geelong, but also the towns just outside Melbourne to the southeast, including Officer, Pakenham and Warragul. In all these places, we've seen median price growth in the last 12 months of 20%, 25%, sometimes as high as 30%. So that's massive growth by anyone's standards, more than we've seen in the capital cities like Sydney and Melbourne in annual terms in recent years. So those places have already shown strong price growth. What we're seeking to do generally with hotspotting is identify the areas that have yet to show that level of price growth. Ballarat is one of the markets that's starting to show promise that it's going to produce that kind of price growth. It's already delivered a pretty good growth in the last 12 months, but we think there's more to come and bigger to come. And so in this edition of Hotspot of the Week, I'm going to show you why I think so. Firstly, we do, like for all the areas that we highlight in Hotspot of the Week, we have a report on the hotspotting.com.au website which explains why we rate this area. And all our reports are structured with a focus firstly on the location, the population, the economic background, the amenities that exist in the location that we're featuring. Then we talk about the property market and what's happening there. And the most important section is the one we call future prospects, because that's the section that really explains why we think there's going to be future growth, given that we are trying to identify locations before they show the big growth. So in terms of where Ballarat is located, its location is actually very important to its success. It's about 100 kilometres northwest of Melbourne. It's very well connected to the capital city through highway connections and also train connections. There was a fast train service started in 2006, and then in 2015 the regional rail link was completed, and those have meant that rail connections to Melbourne have been vastly improved, and there's actually more improvements underway right now. So that's part of the appeal of Ballarat, is its strong connections and its proximity to the capital city, Melbourne. But I think that the big thing about Ballarat is it probably would be a thriving economy in a market even if it wasn't so close, because it's got a very strong economy in its own right. It's a substantial regional city. It's currently got a population of just over 100,000, and it's projected that within the next 20 or so years it will double. It will be 200,000. It's already one of Australia's largest inland cities, but it's going to be more so if the projected growth that the Australian Bureau of Statistics is forecasting actually happens. It probably will, because this is definitely a growth city. Its population is growing strongly, its economy is growing strongly, it's got a lot to offer. People are going to, some people buy in Ballarat because it's affordable and commute to jobs in or near Melbourne. But most of the people in Ballarat actually work locally because it's got such a strong economy. There's a lot of major employment hubs. There's a lot of major businesses based there, and there's plenty of employment within the city of Ballarat itself. It's an emerging knowledge city. It's a regional hub for data processing and research and development. It's got the Federation University Australia. It's got the Green Hill Enterprise Centre. It's also got the Ballarat Technology Park, which employs 1,500 people. And according to our research, it contributes about $100 million each year to the regional economy. It's Western Victoria's largest provider of healthcare, delivering service to a region whose population is at 250,000. It's got many industrial estates. It's very big on education, very big on health services. And I think one statistic that's very relevant and perhaps illustrates what a strong economy Ballarat is in its own right is that it's got the second lowest youth unemployment rate in Australia, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Very, very low by national standards. And its overall unemployment rate is also low, which is testimony to what a strong economy it is and the number of jobs that have been created there. So out of all of that very strong local economy, growing, diverse, we always look for economic diversity for a regional location that we might recommend. And out of all that comes a strong property market. Now, Ballarat's attracting a lot of buyers right now out of Melbourne. And one of the key reasons is its affordability. So we have some suburbs in Ballarat where the median house price is in the 200,000s, like Sebastopol and Winduri. And then we have a whole pile of other suburbs where the median house price is somewhere in the low to mid 300,000s, like Dullacombe and Redan and Ballarat East, Ballarat North, Black Hill. Then there are other suburbs where median prices are in the 400,000s. Now, you just can't buy houses for those sorts of prices in Melbourne anymore. So a lot of buyers out of Melbourne, some of them are home buyers looking for affordability and perhaps a different lifestyle, and some of them are investors looking for lower prices and better rental yields. So a lot of buyers out of Melbourne are targeting Ballarat. As a result, we've seen an uptick in sales activity, which we've been charting in our Price Predictor Index. I mentioned earlier, Ballarat features strongly in the new edition of that. It's still got rising activity, still a number of suburbs with rising demand. And that's what we look for in the Price Predictor Index because it's a precursor to price growth. So Ballarat's featured strongly in the Price Predictor Index, the quarterly editions for the past, say, 12 to 18 months. Because we think that rising demand is going to lead to price growth. Now, we're now starting to see that price growth coming through in the annual price growth figures. We've got a number of suburbs that have had double-digit growth in their median prices in the last 12 months. The suburb of Ballarat's up 13%, Ballarat East is up 10%, Redan is up 14%, Soldiers Hill is up 13%, and Winduri is up 12%. And then you've got some other suburbs where the annual growth is 7%, 8%, 9%. So pretty solid growth coming through in this market. We think there's more to come and perhaps bigger to come. But as a result of steady past performance and also the strong growth in the last 12 months, some of the suburbs of Ballarat got very strong growth averages. That's the average annual growth in prices over 10 years. Some suburbs are 7%, 8%, 9% per year. That's a very strong average. That's comparable to what you'll find in the biggest cities after the recent spurt of price growth we've had in Melbourne and Sydney. So it's a strong performer over time. It's been a strong performer in the last 12 months, and I'm picking that it's going to continue to be because sales activity is still rising. One of the other attractions drawing people as investors out of Melbourne, not just the affordable prices, but also the much better rental yields. Median rental yields in some of these suburbs are above 5%, which is a sort of rental yields you can't hope to achieve on houses in Melbourne, and others are sort of 4.5%, 4.6%, 4.7%. Vacancies very, very low, and that's driving rentals higher and keeping those rental yields strong. The current vacancy rate, according to SQM research in Ballarat, is 0.7%. And that's close to, or The capital city with the lowest vacancy rate at the moment is Hobart, 0.3%, and then you've got Canberra at 0.6%. So Ballarat's in that territory with a vacancy rate well below 1%, which means the rental market's very tight. When the rental market is so tight and rents are growing, prices tend to follow suit, and that's what we're seeing in Melbourne. We're always interested in what's coming up in a market that we're going to recommend. What are the future prospects? They're very strong for Ballarat. There's so much happening and proposed to happen. It's got things like the Ballarat West Employment Zone, which is a staged development of over 400 hectares near Ballarat Airport. That's a work in progress. There's lots of improvements to transport infrastructure. We've talked about the rail links, the regional rail link completed 3 years ago, but there's ongoing railway upgrades, improving the connections between Ballarat and Melbourne. Over $500 million being spent right now. The Western Highway duplication is a $500 million project also, that's under construction. The Ballarat Link Road is under construction, that's $100 million. The proposed massive Melbourne Airport rail link, that's proposed. It's not going to happen for a few years if it happens, but it will improve links to Melbourne Airport for Ballarat. We've got a redevelopment of the Ballarat Base Hospital, $460 million. That's approved and funded. So we're told lots of other big things. There's 3 major wind farms in the Ballarat area. One's under construction. A couple of others are proposed and approved. And those 3 projects combined represent investment of about $3 billion. Other things happening, a $200 million police call centre is approved. We've got a government hub, sort of office hub in the centre of Ballarat, $100 million project under construction. Heaps more. But I mean, it gives you an idea. I mean, it's not just about what's currently happening in the property market, it's what's likely to be generated by the sort of investment that I've just described. A lot of it under construction right now, and others that are approved, funded, ready to go. Billions and billions of dollars worth of investment is being poured into this very important Victorian regional city, and there is more to come. So for these and a whole lot of other reasons, Ballarat, as I said at the beginning, it's part of our national top 5 cheapies with prospects, regional edition, and it's one of our national top 10 in the new edition of the Price Predictor Index, which we publish quarterly. And it's there because it's a strong economy, it's a growing population, and its property market is thriving. That's it for now. That's Hotspot of the Week for this week. We'll do it again same time next week, and there'll be many other broadcasts of on different topics between now and then. So stay tuned. Ryder signing off. Talk to you again soon.